Addiction is defined as a chronic and compulsive engagement in an activity or usage of substance despite it having a detrimental effect known to us. We know that if we embark on this particular job, if we embark on the usage of this particular substance, definitely the substance or activity will have a negative effect on us, more especially in the future or now. Despite our knowledge, we still embark on that particular thing. When it comes at that particular level, either the harm is psychological or physiological, whether it is an activity or a substance, then we will call it an addiction. But the definition alone will not help us. We need to know certain features. I'm going to mention 10 features, and if you have a behavior, that behavior is having 2 of these features, it means that you have a mild addiction to that particular behavior. If the behavior is having, let's say, 4 to 5 of these features, it means that you have an addiction to that particular behavior. If it has more than 6 to 8 features, then you are fully addicted to that particular behavior. Then the Quranic therapeutic principles that we are going to mention today, definitely you need to listen well and grab it very well. If there is always a craving desire embarking the performance of a particular behavior, you have a craving desire for it. When the time comes for it, when the moment comes for it, if you don't do it, you don't feel comfortable. The only thing that can restore and instill comfort within you is the performance of that particular thing. Then you are addicted to that particular thing. Alhamdulillah, Muslims, we are addicted to what? Salah. And some Muslims are addicted to tahajjud. Some Muslims are addicted to dhikrullah. Some Muslims are addicted to tilawa, recitation of the Quran. Some Muslims are addicted to infaq, generosity. Some Muslims are addicted to isar, selflessness. So many characters in the Quran that Allah invites you to get addicted to them in order to increase your level on the ladder of sanctity. You find them enumerated in the Quran in about 286 places in the Quran. So number 1, a craving desire for it. Some of us are addicted to pornography. You open the phone, you see so many images that are un-Islamic. Within our environment, so many images that are un-Islamic, but our eyes will still look at them. Some are addicted to masturbation. Some are addicted to backbiting. Some are addicted to football. Some are addicted to politics. Some are addicted to even envy. Some are also addicted to fornication. Some to adultery. Some to telling lies. So many varied, diverse, different types of sins and mistakes. We are addicted to them. Feature number 1. Feature number 2, if this particular thing has a recurrence feature, that from time to time we have to perform it following a particular cycle, then we say it's a sign or a feature of addiction. If we have made conscious effort to overcome it, and there is always unsuccessful effort to overcome it, and it has landed us to the level of hopelessness, then indeed we say there is addiction over here. If this particular activity and this feature and this behavior and the consumption of that particular substance can block us from the execution, the performance, and embarking on certain obligatory duties in our life, that we acknowledge that these things will send us gradually for us to achieve our vision, but because of what we are embarking on and we cannot control it, we only just resort to that one, then it means it is what? An addiction. There is a disruption in your obligations. Then number 5, if it also has a social adverse effect on you, you don't even want the society to know, and then there is an adverse effect on the society, then it means there is an addiction. If there is a physical or psychological risk over here, if it can lead to the distortion of your physical makeup or your psychological makeup or your emotional makeup, and you know this one and still you cannot stop, then we can talk about addiction. And if there is what we call tolerance over here, that is the same amount of activity, the same amount of that particular substance gradually cannot produce the effect that you want, the effect of results or desire or pleasure in you, the craving desire in you. That same amount of substance and the same amount of duration or activity can't give you the same effect, and you need to increase and keep increasing in order to get that particular same distance. Then it means that there is addiction over here. And when it gets to some time when you don't perform, the absence of that particular activity will restructure your hormonal level or makeup to give you what we call withdrawal symptoms, some uneasiness within you, and you can't do without that particular thing. Then we talk about what? Addiction. If there is shame in this one, you have to hide and do it. You don't want people to see. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu says that if you want to know what is a sin, what you don't want to make public, and when it is made public you wouldn't be happy, then that is what? A sin. So if there is some amount of shame and you don't want people to know, and you also struggle, still you can't stop it, then we can talk about addiction. When it sends you to depression and dejection, then we talk about addiction. You are not happy when you are not being able to do it, then we can call it an addiction. In order to resist every bad habit, we need a willpower. We need self-regulation, self-inhibition, which alhamdulillah, Ramadan is in. Transfer the self-inhibition, the willpower we develop towards not eating and drinking. We are supposed to be conscious of that one and transfer that ability onto other wrong or sinful act in order not to do them. So it means that alhamdulillah, Ramadan becomes a fertile ground for us to use it in order to develop certain internal, psychological, emotional and spiritual competences against the execution of bad deeds and addictions. So therefore, inshallah, we will have a look at the psychological makeup of addiction. How do we form it? Then afterwards, we'll go into the Quran to look at certain general principles, general method and tools that Allah Azza wa Jalla has stated in the Quran, that we can use them to form a formula or a method or a strategy against breaking addictions and bad habits. We look at the general ones, 10 of them. Then we now go to the Quran itself and get a model that Allah Azza wa Jal used these principles that we will mention, brought them together to show us how a bad addiction or a negative addiction can be broken. This will be our major duty to embark on.